Guten Abend, meine Freunde. Heute spielen wir eine sehr nett kleine Spiele. Mit mir wie alles ist mein Kollege Stanislaus. Und ich bin Ludwig Heline. And that's all the German I can muster at my current state. My brain is not operating at all cylinders at this hour of the night. But anyways, we're playing a very lovely little indie game that, you could probably tell, very much an indie episodic thing. This is another interesting little Epic Games find, and I'm sorry to those of you watching. This was free until this morning, the day that we are recording this. It is no longer free because our time management is terrible.
You were thinking we would be benevolent, and now we can't.
We wanted to be like, check this out. It's free right now. Give it a look. See, and we can't because by the time you see this, it will be very much past. But
that bodes well for the game, actually.
It's only like $8 anyway, so if you like what you see, come have a looky. But this is the Lions song, as you can see here. Very much an arty indie game. Not gonna lie about that, but that's not a bad thing. That genre has a fair few. It's got a reputation. Let's just say it that way, for being
like as far as criticisms.
Yeah, the indie arty genre kind of gets. There's definitely lots of stuff in there that's really sort of banal and insipid. But I don't think this is strictly that. I think this is a lovely little charming game, and as you can see, I played the first episode as a technical test to see if my computer could record it, because we have tried recording from my computer several times. In fact, several times even on one particular game that we won't mention, because we're hopefully going to play it eventually, but not today.
We will figure out a way.
So I had to test if it would even record, and I also wanted to test if it would play well for a topic-y, podcasty thing. It's a little dialogue and story heavy, so we're going to try not to talk over it too much, but I actually think that there should hopefully be a degree... check something. There should hopefully be a degree of topics that arise from the game itself, so hopefully it won't distract, it'll actually add to topics.
Right.
But anyways...
lend itself to some
yes,
furnishing of various automatic topics.
Yeah, there you go. So let's jump in. The broadest discussion, not even discussion. Oh, well, see, there you go. This alone sets the stage. We are in early 1900s Vienna, in Austria, a city we both have a bit of history with that we might get into.
Indeed.
Hence the intro of me flexing my very vestigial German muscles. It's been a long time since I've had to speak German, but not ostensibly, that's not the right way, that's not the right application of that word. We are definitely in 1920s, or not 1920s, early 20th century Vienna. And if you know anything about that period of time in Vienna specifically, very much a cultural and scientific nexus, as it were. It is famously said that for a period of time, I can't remember who all it was. It was Sigmund Freud, Adolf Hitler, which is, not that that's a positive thing, but like Sigmund Freud, Adolf Hitler, I forget, several other notable scientists and political figures all lived in Vienna in the same decade, the same 10-year span. They were all there, so very much a hub of culture. Other than Hitler,
no, Adolf's still a part of the variance.
He brought everyone down.
Gene pool.
He brought Austria's reputation down.
Well,
it's true. They deny that he was born there, even though he was.
That sounds very Austrian.
Well, yeah, because would you want to be associated with him? Anyways, here's this man carrying a small Vox amp.
It's an AC-15.
Anyways, we've been holding on the scene.
He's a time traveler.
Mr. Monopoly is getting a little annoyed at us for gabbling over his intro. Anyways.
In fact, he's blinking his 2D eyes.
Well, I just realized, now that you've made me draw my attention to it, look, whenever he blinks, his eyes actually do change what he's looking.
Said this.
Well, you didn't. You said 2D eyes. That's not terribly descriptive. Look at that. Every time he blinks, he looks away. Oh, not that time. Come on.
Come on, he's rubbing his nose.
He's gonna look away. See? He's looking at them, and he's gonna look at us. That's a nice detail. As you can already tell, now Frida. That's a good name. It's a very pretty game. I quite like its style.
Well, it's rudimentary, but it also has a lot of
character, I would say.
Yeah.
It manages.
It's not a complex color palette, but it's very.
It's deliberately old-timey.
Yeah.
And I like there's a lot of this kind of thing where words, just subtle details where it's like the way words.
Well, that's a bit of
animate.
That's a bit of
so as to sell a degree of inflection.
Early Nintendo color.
Yeah, well,
type of feel.
It's not a new thing, but they do it well. Like there's a lot
This feels very Pokemon-ish to me.
Well, it doesn't do it quite so incessantly and so obnoxiously as Pokemon did.
Maybe.
But yes. There we go. I have actually not... Ooh. I hope that's... Okay, good. It's not recording that way. On our screen, some of the words are getting cut off, but you're probably not seeing that, I hope. Let me look. Yeah, no, it's fine. Here we go. Vienna Central. I have not played this episode, so we are totally fresh. All I know is... Like, look at that. Even, that's very subtle.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate... There's a lot of that. And it's like, even the way they animate when they laugh and stuff, it's
well, I mean,
very
the
charming.
small animations of him looking away. And...
Well, and, like, just that minor thing you don't almost notice until you look at it for a minute. That's why kind of we're sitting on the screen for a while.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of charm, a lot of character, and I like it. But I know nothing about this episode. I know the first episode, and it's a very arty game. Art is sort of the general focus. But I don't know anything about this, so it's a little bit fresh. Perhaps I should synopsize the first episode.
Yes, please do, because I have no context for it. Is it connected?
I don't actually even know that yet. From what I know, this character, who we will soon establish as being an artist, is the one of this episode. The previous episode focused on a young composer, a student of composition. Oh, he's with some, I don't know what he's talking about. Granddad. Oh, there you go. It's Sigmund Freud himself. I was not paying attention to the dialogue, so I am just going to have to wing it. But the first episode was about a young composer struggling to find inspiration for their great magnum opus. It's definitely... Ooh, Klimt. I know of Klimt. He was a famous Austrian artist.
Is that actually who it is?
No, that's not who this is. He's talking about... I don't think any of these are based on real people.
Oh.
But there are references to real people.
Gotcha.
But anyways, there's really not much to talk about with the first episode. It was a composer, and
it's Peter.
It's St. Paul.
Well, okay, we went two different directions.
Well, that's a show.
Same basic principle.
And there's Long John Silver over here. And there's other hangers-on. We joke, but I actually have no clue who this is. He's throwing me off a little bit. I don't know what the robes and the hair are all about.
I need to tell you...
The two markets.
Hooray!
Clap,
St.
clap,
Peter.
clap, 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 clap.
On this
slap,
rock.
slap, slap. Mountain climber and the artist. So we're the artist. Apparently our grandfather is a mountain climber. Okay, bye, Paul. Oh, he's not leaving. Young Franz.
Bye, Paul.
My name is Franz. I found on the wrong side of the Danube, where I also live. That's what he said. I'm reading what they...
I thought you were making a joke about the Blue Danube.
No, that's an actual river.
I know. I'm not suggesting. I do not.
Always on the hunt for better painting. So this is us. Suitable model at this gathering. Ooh, saucy. What is it you told me? Franz. Franz is such an interesting... I've known people named Franz. That's so weird to me.
It's an interesting name.
It's not... If you've ever been to Austria, these are real names. It's weird to know... Oh, that person just materialized. I'm once again not paying a person's soul except God. Oh, yes. We're talking to the man of the cloth, clearly. Let's talk about God. No one sees the soul except God. Franz here throughout one of his pictures. It almost... What?
What does that have to do with God?
I don't know. We're as I said, this isn't necessarily...
Only
like
God
a giant
sees
fist.
Only God sees the soul. In fact, Franz the other day threw a picture at me.
I hurt my knee. What? As I said, it's a little dialogue and plot heavy, so it's going to be a little bit difficult.
See, the animation's brilliant, though. The fact that they actually
I like
animate
this
all
character.
little...
I like him. Something about even just his stance. I'm like, I like him.
He's about to go on an adventure.
Okay.
I'm
okay, there we go. Now it's by Paul for real. Bye, St. Paul. One of the ladies.
He's gonna be your model.
No, well, we're gonna paint one of the ladies. One of the ladies, maybe. How witty! Ha ha ha! Clap, clap, clap.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Okay, excuse me. That line was not said by a man.
I know.
That was very much creepy. I cannot move. I can only. Ooh. I must. A well-rounded gentleman. And a gramophone. I must insert myself amongst the upper class.
Bookshelf, gramophone.
Of course, I'm going to talk to. What's with the disappearing people? Marquette. So my name is Franz Marquette. I don't believe that's a real name. So. Let's be a little self-deprecating. Worth the price of a loaf of bread. So yes, young, struggling artist.
Yes, that's what I will give you.
Yes, here's a loaf of bread. It's not... Well, there you go. See, like, yeah. There's just there's charm in it. That's all I can say. Merchant banker.
Merchant banker, and I'm about to make you rich.
Here's a good philosophical question. He just asked us how we value our art, or like how we determine the value of art. Just says staying true to a vision. It's not something that can be measured. It's measured in followers. What do you think? What would you answer if you were a young artist?
Well, I think the romantic idea would be it's not something that can be measured, but the bottom line is
I'm leaning
it can
towards
be
the
measured,
practical, which is it's only about. This is something a hippie would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Art can't be measured. That's unhelpful.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a cogent argument that I agree with. So there we go. Staying true to a vision. Aha. Now this is why, in retrospect, I wish we had saved this and done the first episode together.
I'm fairly confident that man would have said truth no matter what.
Well, I'm sure that's true. This is an indie game. I don't know how many people worked. What's with the randomly appearing people? That's
it's a ghost.
That's what I have to wonder. That's happened multiple times. Am I supposed to notice that?
No.
And it just goes again. I will certainly consider your generous offer. I don't know how to say that. Excuse me. You make me uncomfortable.
Excuse me. I'm walking away now.
I'm going to play a song on the gramophone. A gramophone. The Lion song. Oh! That was... Okay, so they do relate to each other because that was the song of... the first episode. The Lion song was the final composition by the young artist.
Given that was the title of the...
Well, yes, but I didn't know that this episode would also play off of it. Wilma Dorfel. Oh, so this, I didn't realize until just now, this is the character from the first episode, this woman.
Composer, yeah.
I didn't know, we didn't ever learn her last name, Wilma Dorfel.
So that's, he painted that?
He apparently painted her.
Well, there you go.
Young, driven, unsure of herself. Yes, I remember that episode.
Unable to sit still.
I had to paint her twice.
Darn it, Dolphin. Get in the right spot.
Dolphin?
Whatever her last name was.
Dolphin. That's what he called her. If something is missing, perhaps I could find more within her today.
What?
Well, Franz, you protest too much. Okay, who should we talk to? Middle-aged gentleman or the nun? Can't talk to the nun.
The nun? How are you getting nun vibes from that?
What's about whatever this is on her head?
That would be called a hat.
Well, it looks a bit habity, and she's wearing some kind of a cloak. She's drinking wine, though. I don't think nuns are allowed to do that.
I was about to say.
What's with the teleporting people? Young lady outside.
Deep conversation outside.
We're getting too wrapped up into this. I thought we would...
Materialist
apparitions. Trying to focus too much on... so anyways, did I even conclude? First episode about this young woman, the composer, whose apparently song is playing right now. It was interesting. It had a degree of artistic, like... The whole point is she was struggling to find inspiration for her great, magnum opus she was trying to write. And you kind of had to figure out what that was, and they played into it. I think in a way.
Did you actually hear it?
It wasn't a composed song. I think it was samples of recorded pieces.
Well,
Like you
that's
heard,
kind of to be expected.
like you heard. I don't know if they. That's actually a reasonable question. I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if it was composed for this, or if it was just free samples of stuff. We can look at Vienna. Finally here. Vienna is an interesting city. We'll talk about our history with it. But I want to get over this first episode. It was interesting. And I thought, I wish we had sort of been able to record that one. Had I known, I might have saved it. Because unlike in the art sense, neither of us are terribly art savvy.
Well, as far as like visual,
As far as the
visual
actual,
art,
yeah. But we are both musicians, and I
Yes.
thought it would have been interesting to get our commentary on that episode, because some of it I thought was rather interesting. But sadly, we didn't, and I don't remember enough of it to discuss it now.
Alas, you skipped ahead.
Well, I had to check. What if we had just jumped into it blind? Are these two separate conversations? Because they look like they're all talking together, but there's two separate people I can talk to. Let's talk to young Franz Ferdinand.
And materialized.
And his weird materializing concubines. Alphonse. That's quite a name. Oh,
And one of them just...
yeah, I just booed her out of the conversation. Your art is very new. He's very new. Well, they all seem to... Oh, she's interested. I like you.
Wonderfully new.
I imagine her talking like Mrs. Scarlet.
Oh, ho, ho.
That is not what I meant by that. Saturday next model. Well, I'm intrigued by this lady. She seems quite intrigued by me. Feel like, excuse? Okay, well, I guess that was it.
Apparently not.
A sturdy looking... What? I don't want the sturdy... What? Excuse me? Were you talking to me?
Make me blush.
Oh,
Do
they're
it.
They're talking about me. I guess I'll talk to the... Oh, I don't want to do the sturdy looking gentleman. Is this gonna get homoerotic?
Why would you go there?
Well, they might be trying to push a narrative. I don't know.
In a sepia tone Vienna?
Hey,
Set in
who knows?
Not even 19, 18 something.
Okay, you gotta admit, he's coming on a little strong.
Paint me.
Woo!
Okay, so is this their emotions or something behind them?
I hope.
I'm feeling so strongly roided.
It's just Alex Louise Armstrong is all I see. He's even got the stash. Am I not a magnificent specimen for portraiture? Oh, okay, bye.
Came too far to see my...
Don't go. No one's going to get that reference. Lieutenant Alphonse Bach. I don't know if that's a real person. And I don't...
A lieutenant.
An art lover. I don't... Okay, are they going to force me into painting this dude?
Yes.
Oh, here... Oh, boom! The game... Here you go. The game's suggesting topics for us. Who's your favorite artist? Answer this question before I click on it. No.
Ooh.
No consideration. Spitball. I just realized something.
I don't know that I have, like, one... Again, I don't have much of a context for visual art, so if I had to choose, I would say Monet, simply by the fact that I don't have much exposure to anybody else.
So you have exposure to Monet, you're saying?
Not a lot.
And I've seen them, but not a lot. I haven't seen them. You can't give any more indication than that? Just you're going to go with just someone you've heard of?
Well, I mean... I suppose Van Gogh, I appreciate his approach.
Or Van Gogh, as you weird Brits pronounce it.
Van Gogh, I like because...
I'm going to click on the other answers just so you give time, because I don't answer that yet. Okay, you can't deny this dude is coming on very strong.
Well,
like
maybe your initial assumptions were correct. So Van Gogh, I think it's kind of cheap or maybe...
Okay. Oh no!
Perfunctory to say that you...
I thought I would gonna... Okay, we can't answer that question.
To
I thought...
say that somehow he has a unique style, but I feel like everybody does. But I do
some are more unique
his style.
than others. I do like some of his paintings. I'm not sure that I love him as a painter.
Clarify what you mean.
Well, I would refer to a conversation we had, but that conversation's been lost. The difference to me between whether or not I consider myself a fan of a person versus a fan of their work is whether or not I can come across a new piece by said person and know that I will enjoy it.
And you're saying you don't...
Meaning,
what would make you a fan of their
in the initial
person?
context we discussed was in music, where I go, I can like several songs from a band, but I wouldn't consider myself a fan of the band unless I knew with a high enough degree of certainty that if they released a new album, I would like it. It's like I have to like enough of their work that I... like, for example, I consider myself a fan... Oh, okay. See, I don't think it is for me. But, like, for example, again, in the music scene, I would consider myself a fan of, say, Breaking Benjamin.
Right.
Because anytime they've brought out a new album, I have a pretty good inclination that I'm going to like it. And usually I'm right. Whereas there's some bands that I'm like, I like several songs, but I'm not a fan of the band. This, okay, I think they're going to force us into doing this, dude, and I don't really... they're going to make me. They're going to make me paint only the men. The only people I can talk to are men. That's going to be a little annoying, because then it's like, now they're forcing me into a... Fraulein, are you evading me? Oh, she did walk away from us. Perhaps that's what we get to... Are you following me?
You're a creep.
Yes! I'm just going to say yes. Oh, wait, I think this is the chick. Oh, okay,
Can
never
you
mind.
stop it, please?
Is this girl? She looks like this girl.
Slight more on topic, actually. There is a Van Gogh museum, actually, in Dallas.
Dedicated strictly to Van Gogh?
Yes.
Oh, so
and
it's not like an installation.
It is a lifelike, like it brings Van Gogh's paintings essentially in a room. They literally use the entire room to basically put you in the actual painting. And I found that interesting. I really would love to do it, but to me, I'm going...
Is it expensive?
I don't know actually how much it is. It's not... It doesn't seem like it would be horrendously expensive, but...
You don't... I suppose I... Oh, okay, there are other people. We suppose we're delaying too much for topics, but I don't want to, we want to actually get through this episode in the time we have. So that's my grandfather. And there's me.
You're going to paint your grandfather?
Well, I'd be rather that than Mr. Really Awkward forcing himself on me, man.
Alphonse, is that what his name is?
Alphonse. I don't like that I can't talk to literally anyone else. I'm just going to keep following her.
You're looking for Rose.
Rose?
Wow.
Rose.
You uncultured swine.
Well, that could... Oh, St. Paul's here! Oh, that's supposed to be Klimt himself. Why is he dressed like St. Paul?
Well, maybe he's trying to channel St. Paul. He's feeling a little insecure today.
I want to talk to you because I want to know... Okay, so she's going to keep avoiding me. I can't tell if that's supposed to be this girl from the first episode.
I don't think it's the same girl.
She's got a similar face and hair, and she won't talk to us, but we still know her. So that implies that we've met her before. Because evidently we've painted her before. I like this guy.
You want to paint the fat man.
Okay, they literally asked me, who are you thinking of painting? And I was like, I want to try maybe one of the women. And then they're like, nope, only dudes for you.
No women for you.
So that's kind of annoying. I guess, was it always going to be the opposite of what I suggested? What about this dude? What about this pompous guy? I guess I may as well talk to this dude. Okay, so I can't talk to him because he's forever talking to them. Let's go talk to St. Paul again. So you're going to go with Van Gogh for just that reason only?
Not just because of that. I've always actually found that even just the fact that his appreciation or the people...
whoever I want to spend time with, not creepy men or old fat guys.
The fact that his paintings didn't really become popularized until after his death.
Well, that's not at all uncommon amongst artists.
It's not, but I just feel like it was very interesting that he painted such... how should I say it? Maybe esoteric scenes.
The mic isn't up there.
No, I'm saying just that he painted very esoteric scenes.
Dude.
In that.
Genie.
You can't go talking over me if you're gonna get on to me about where I'm talking about.
This genie just appeared. He's literally coming out of something. And there he goes again.
He's still doing it.
So there's only three men I can talk to. Klimt, I don't think is an option. Fat guy I can't talk to, and
Klimt is a man of the cloth. If you painted him, I feel like that would be concerning.
So I can only talk to these three men, and I can't even talk to him.
Anyway.
He comes off too strong. I
So
don't like
Van
his
Gogh is a bit
presumptuousness.
esoteric, but
I'm talking
also
about Granddad.
has, because of his unique style, I feel like brings his paintings to a level of intrigue for me.
Okay, so that's not her.
That I feel like is untouched, because a lot of people, it's like, okay, it's your paintbrush style or your specific stroke versus Van Gogh, who really, it's not like Picasso where he literally is so outside of the ballpark,
Yeah.
but he has a very abstract approach, which I appreciate. So
I would say my favorite painting of his is a lesser known one. It's the one of the the skeleton smoking a cigarette. Have you seen that one?
Mm-hmm.
That one is probably one of my my favorites, just because it's not one of the ones that you always see of his.
But that's what I mean, esoteric. It's a little
Sure.
bit like, what?
So Granddad just assured us that this is not the chick from that painting. She's got a very strange Polish name.
And is also not the person you're going to be painting.
Well, now that I've actually talked to her, now that I know her name,
Here we are, we meet again. Granddad just told me who you are. Can I paint you now?
so because I'd rather Greta. Greta? Well, because presumably it's Greta, but I've never seen it.
Grete.
I've never seen it spelled that way. Laniziak. That's very Polish.
Maybe it's Russian. Launajak.
That's very Polish. Joseph's sake, I believe that's my grandfather. Wow.
Excuse me.
So she doesn't. Okay, so Granddad said she's an art critic and she doesn't like our stuff. So clearly, she's about to tell us. Yeah. Be honest with me.
Yes.
I can take it.
Just say no.
Oh well. Okay. Obvious what I'm trying to do. Okay, now that cuts. Obvious is one criticism, but that cuts deep, lady. Ouch.
But
Well, that you can hardly hold that against
you
me.
need a big fat. I can't
You gotta,
even.
okay, you gotta finish that sentence.
Well, I was gonna say
Oh, well, okay, I believe that
you
concludes.
need a big fat wake up call. I'm just gonna
now
say
she is
that.
actually gonna leave. Okay, so I could have asked the
Okay,
painter.
bye.
I could have asked the painter in that conversation, although I suspect she wouldn't have let me. She is the only woman I could have apparently painted, because
I bet you that she would have let you.
Well, that would be annoying, because I would have tried if I had known. I don't think they would have. She's too much. She's clearly too opposed to me.
Oh! St. Paul's ready. He's giving you the eyeball.
Well, no, because he's actually an artist that I talked to about. Yeah, see, he's just. Yeah, I can't actually paint him.
Talk to you later.
So I'm a little annoyed. I've tried twice, and he's not. So I cannot talk to him. If only because they're forcing me to paint a man, which is a little strange. Because I thought I specified that I wanted to paint a woman. But Alphonse is way too forward for me. So I'm going with Uncle Pennybanks over here.
Uncle Pennybanks.
I don't know. He reminds me of Colonel Mustard, and there's something about that I like.
There's just something about that I like.
Am I successful enough for it?
Ooh.
Yes.
I just had a random
I just had
thought.
an apostrophe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Lightning has just struck my brain.
Shoot. I had it for a moment. It was... there was a painter that I just recently came across. It's a more modern...
Ooh, well that leads into me, because I have a painter I recently came across. But finish yours.
It's not, new.
Well, I doubt he's new. Most new artists aren't going to be famous for a while.
Darn it.
I do think that these shadows that appear are meant to be like personifications.
Give me a second. You
Well, okay,
mention
I'll
what
answer
you're
the
gonna-
I'll answer the question first.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about my new artist, because he's not my favorite, although I find him interesting. If I had to pick, it's tough. It's a split for me. But what's this guy's name? Reinhard Moritz. Reinhard Moritz. I don't know how to say that in a German accent. That seems like an inappropriate question to ask. How much are you worth? Yeah, see, I think these are sort of personifications, because they pop up whenever they do certain things or talk about certain stuff. I guess I'll paint this guy, if only because the other dude's a little too forceful for me. It's a toss-up for me for very different reasons. if I had to pick between them, the two I would pick, first I should say, is between Arnold Böcklin, I believe is the proper pronunciation. He was a Swiss painter in like the 1800s. No, I don't need to excuse you. I want to talk to you. Sure, I'll paint you. Yes. Cool. We need to get out of the scene, too. But the other toss-up for me is a man named Montague Dawson, who almost exclusively painted... he was called a maritime painter. So, as a matter of fact, look at this helpful demonstration. Paintings like this up here, you see like these ships? That's literally all he did, was paintings of ships. Now, as you know from our first episode, I am a big nautical history person. So ships, especially like sailing ships and stuff, are cool to me. Oh, did he want to picture one of my paintings? Oh, I didn't realize that. There you go. That would be cool. I believe we've done everything we need to do. Let's look at Vienna again. Right, I guess we're done. So we've picked our painting subject. But anyways, Montague Dawson painted almost exclusively that, which is probably why I can't pick him as my favorite, because it's a little too one-dimensional. I love the stuff he does, but I wish he did some more stuff. So I'd probably have to go with Arnold Böcklin, because he's unique. He's not very well known. My favorite one of his, if I had to pick, is one called Self-Portrait with Death Playing the Fiddle, which is a funny name, and it's actually just a self-portrait of himself, but in the background there's a skeleton playing a violin. And I don't know why, but I find that sort of humorous. That it's like, that's the kind of, I guess in a way it speaks to me, because I'm like, if ever I was a painter, not that I am very much painterly inclined, but if I was, that's the kind of stuff I would like to do, where it's just like sort of somewhat real, normal, reasonable painter stuff, but then with weird abstract elements thrown in. And so I appreciate that. You should look that one up. That one's my favorite. Plus, what weirds me out is he looks a lot like me, which is the weirdest thing. And now I've given everyone a clue. But if you look him that painting up, that's like what I will look like in 20 years. It weirded me out the first time I saw it, because it was literally just like, oh, this was just the prologue. We got to speed up. Problem is we can't see the timer. We were at 18 minutes 15 minutes ago. So we're at around half an hour.
I'm not going to remember this guy's name. Ooh, That's so annoying.
This didn't happen
I know I wrote it down, but
this didn't happen in the first episode. We've got a nice, lovely map of Vienna. Now, I would have found it interesting to see Vienna at this era, which I suppose that leads us to our next topic. So yeah, that's my opinion on Arnold Böcklin. One of the reasons I got so captivated by him was because I took one of those like really dumb, the Berg Theater, one of those really dumb. I'm walking. Look at that. Like personality tests where it's like, oh, which painter are you most like? And I took a thing and then it gave me that. But what weirded me out is the fact that it was that picture, his self-portrait. And so it was like, oh, which one are you? And then it was like a guy that looks like me. And I was like, holy crap. So I suppose that made an impression. But I do like a lot of his stuff.
I wish I could remember that. So I'm not going to be able to remember him, which is really frustrating, because I know that I just
I don't recognize any of these landmarks.
just recently wrote him down, but I'm not going to be able to come across him.
So we're walking.
It was at I came across him at a meeting of local pastors of all things, and I just can't seem to. I know I wrote it down somewhere, and I want to
just see if I can find other stuff. This is fun. This did not happen in the first episode. I am able to walk around.
Norman Rockwell.
Norman Rockwell, he's very famous.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not famous. I'm just saying.
Okay. I was expecting like an unknown, because you were like having such a hard time remembering. I was like, oh, is it going to be some?
Well,
unknown?
I just had never come across him, but I really appreciated that he is there. He's got one particular painting that he did of his family.
Oh! St. Stephansplatz. I have been here.
Stephansplatz. That's interesting.
I was hoping that I would find something, because I didn't recognize any of these other landmarks. But this is, in fact, Stephansplatz Cathedral. I have been there. So I suppose there's our next topic, is Vienna is a city we've both been at. So here's
Well,
Stefan Platz.
let me finish.
Okay, yes,
Norman
yes,
Rockwell deserves his time.
Oh, sure.
No, there was a portrait he actually painted later in his career that was literally of his family. And what's interesting, I found, is that he painted it just after leaving his family and being essentially isolated and all alone, which I found fascinating because it was basically his artistic rendering of like, hey, this is what I used to have and what I really desire, but I painted it having already basically lost it. I mean,
I did not realize that he left. I mean, he left a family and is like, did he have a falling out? Like, did he?
Yeah, he literally had like a falling out. Now, I
sad.
believe that there was a repair later, but
So
like,
this is, now I don't believe the Danube.
I just found that fascinating.
I don't
you
recall
can
the
look that
Danube being
particular up.
that close. I don't suppose this is a great geographical map. I
Oddly
don't
enough,
believe the
that was
Danube
his,
is that close to Stephansplatz, but
oddly enough, that was his only self-portrait.
so workshop and the salon. So the salon is where I just was. So I want to go back to my workshop. Oh, Stephansplatz. Well, this is fun. I'm glad we didn't do the other episode. This one's already got more. Oh, I've got an apartment.
Okay, it's called this particular painting.
This is
I'm
really
going to
fun.
look.
This is I'm having some fun flashbacks. Not flashbacks, but like memories. I don't recall Votive Church or the Bergs Theater. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll go to my workshop. This was cool. What are you looking for? A name or a?
I'm looking for the family picture that I'm thinking of. It was apparently a cover on the. It was a Christmas cover, actually. It's called Christmas Homecoming. And it's interesting because basically the artist is painting what he desires his life to be, even though he had that at one time and walked away from it. So I just find that.
Okay.
Wow.
I am not going to pick that option.
This took a turn.
Those clothes you've chosen are great. Put more on, please. I'm going to do this. All right. Well, that's it. Okay, there you go. Vienna.
Yes, so
Woo.
let's get to that.
So these clearly are sort of caricatures of some kind of
How
emotional.
they feel, yeah.
All right. Well, let's channel our deeper inner artist. What would you? So this is a man of business, a wealthy man. I feel like you'd want him
Lie
to stand
down.
up.
You don't want to. Yeah.
No, I think he should be standing in a powerful sort of commanding position of authority. Oh, there you go. It looks like Jethro, the guy from. We're back to Prince of Egypt again. That's what he reminds me of.
My father, Jethro, High Priest of Midian.
You realize the woman said that line, not
Yes.
Batman.
My father.
As I asked you about herself,
Where was Jethro going?
It becomes a conversation, yeah. All right, cool. All right, this is fun. I'm liking this episode a fair bit. I like this. I'm glad we went with this guy. The other guy was too much.
He for sure would have taken his clothes off. It wouldn't have been
I would have told him, "Oh, those clothes are great," and he'd have been like, "Nah,
Nah.
taking them off." I don't know what. So
how do we talking about Vienna?
Talking about Vienna as a city we've both been in,
Yeah.
and to varying degrees. I lived in Vienna for 3 years, I believe it was.
Long years.
Really, well,
No, I'm just teasing.
yeah, they were, and so it's interesting, like the fact that you've actually some of those monuments I've been to. I've been to Stephansplatz and
Great place.
I've never heard of any of those other ones. It's a very fascinating cathedral. I mean, if you're planning to go to Vienna, you'll no doubt be recommended to go there, and you definitely should. It's quite a thing to behold.
Yes, for sure.
And little known secret, if you come to Stephansplatz and you go down, I forget the name of the street. You walk down a block, you'll get to the Opera House. Take a left, and the best pasta place you've ever been to in your life.
That is very true.
is
Vapiano's.
It's actually a chain. So we're acting like it's like some mom and pop. It's actually a chain restaurant.
Well,
but
it's a chain
it's
restaurant
not everywhere.
in Europe, which is a little...
There are in the U.S. Only on the East Coast, though, and there's only like a handful of them.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're in like D.C. and New York and places like that. But it's the best pasta
It really is.
ever.
Because they start from scratch. They literally make everything from like, hey, what kind of noodles do you want? Okay, what kind of sauce do you want? It's great.
I have not. Okay, I
So
didn't.
there, if you,
I think he's asking us how much our most expensive painting has been.
I don't
kind of
lie. Say say.
I can only imagine.
Oh, maybe do the bottom one.
Well, no, he's asking us.
Well, I mean,
he's asking us a businessy question. He's a businessman. Clearly, the fact that this one doesn't say a lie
You've
next to
already
it clearly suggests that this is
But
truth.
you've already self-deprecated, so let's just go honest this time and just say it.
Well, I don't know which one. Well, both of these claim to be honest because they don't claim to be lies.
Well, I would imagine that the higher one was the more honest because if it's the highest priced painting.
Adequate for newcomer. Okay, so there you go. He's asking about... Okay, so he's complimenting our paintingliness. But yeah, it's a fun city, and I admit I didn't appreciate it enough when I lived there.
Maybe that's true.
Because I think that's true of any place you're in. You sort of, it's one of those, you don't quite realize the stuff you miss about it till you're gone.
I will say this, if you've had no exposure, especially, like, number one, if you've never been outside of your state, that's, first of all, get outside of your state. If you have been outside of your state but never outside of the U.S., it really is, I would encourage you to get outside of your own worldview because it just broadens your whole scope.
And I think Vienna is a somewhat undersold. When people think we're going to go travel to Europe, they're thinking probably like Paris, London, if you've never been to England. London to me is...
Paris is a dirty city, don't go.
What's funny is I've never been there, but my parents have, and they said that exact thing.
It is.
They were like, "It's not as great as everyone makes it out to be."
Listen, I'm not.
This really is a dirty city.
I'm not commenting on French people. I'm commenting on that particular city. It's one of those types of cities that you say it's just, again, like your parents said, it's very overrated. It's like, well, okay, we're here. You know. I felt the same way about Magnolia in Texas.
Oh, yeah. I've still never been there.
Like, you're just kind of going, okay, we're here. Like, Waco was very underwhelming.
He's looking at our painting of him, and he likes it, but we are apparently not as... I feel like that's very true. Artists, that's very true of all artists. But
I would say I know something is missing makes it feel like there's something to be added.
Oh, well, there you go. I like that I chose him. He's a little more interesting a character and not so forceful. I don't know what his ghost is doing here, though. I sure wish his ghost would leave. Well, there you go.
There you go. So he's just saying.
There you go. I like him. He's fun and relatable. I'm glad we went with him. Oh, sent to the bank, so he's going to buy this one. Yoo-hoo. Now, what's funny is that picture there looks like him. His ghost stays with us.
What does that say? It's still with us.
So he's made an impression in our mind.
I think that may be a glitch.
No, I think it's clear because it's clearly purposeful. It's animating. Pour me another Mountain Dizzle. Hours later. Oh, I'm agonizing. I'm agonizing over a painting because I am an artist. I am the artist and I can never be satisfied with my work. How long
will the spirit haunt me?
Hours gone and I where? Oh, that was not figurative. He's saying he literally sat on the couch for hours and didn't realize it. Okay, so he's unstable. And we're only remembering go home.
So,
okay, this is more interesting than I thought. I thought that was going to be like a quintessential, artists and blah, blah, but he's actually like blacked out for 4 hours.
Not to sound, I don't know.
What I was saying is, yes, people think...
pious, but I just think definitely get outside of your own worldview.
I was blocking.
I mean, it makes me sad when people have such a limited scope of how they see the world. It's like, that's not... no.
You can't always blame them for that. Sometimes it's circumstantial. But anyways, what I was going to say is people think Paris, London, Venice or places like that. I think Vienna is an undersold one because it's not one people would think of.
Well, you also
but it has such
you also have Segovia. I mean, that's brilliant.
That's completely unknown though outside of Spain.
Yes, but I just I'm just saying there
used to be a okay, so this is I can look around my stuff.
I'm sorry. Segovia, Spain? Which one's the castle in...
There's a castle in Segovia.
No, in Vienna. Which one am I thinking?
Castle. You're thinking of... not Steppenplatz.
It's
not a castle. It's the palace, or is it the castle?
Yeah, the palace. But what
palace is Schönbrunn.
Yeah, Schönbrunn.
That's in Vienna, too.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
But my point is,
was brilliant.
People don't think of it because when you think of... Oh, okay. Well... Oh, these are my own drawings. Sell? Okay, apparently I can sell. Oh, this... Okay, the guy wanted to sell... he wanted to buy not only this painting, but some of my sketches. Okay, well, apparently I'm sending him some of that. Okay, so I'm... all right, I'm understanding the... There you go. I'm understanding the plot. I am a disgruntled artist because I'm never satisfied with my own work. Yeah, see, I'm always very critical. But even this I can't do. Most of it like it. Oh, there you go. I could talk to my art critic. That's probably something that's not a bad idea. She'll give us the truth we need to know. She'll tell us something about our lackings and such. Yeah. How do I... Okay, I already saw all this.
That actually...
But anyways, if you're considering...
of interest, if you're down on something, do you confront the problem head on, or do you just avoid it?
Well, there's truth to the fact that if you're interested in developing an artistic skill, feedback is something you need.
Well, that is a very stoic perspective.
Well,
though.
no, that's just a life perspective.
That's still, I would submit, a very stoic perspective, though, because some people go, I don't want to.
Well, but that's exactly the point. Most people would go, oh, it's too personal, or what if it's not good enough? But you gotta just, you'll never improve if you don't get some feedback because you don't know everything. So you gotta get someone who does. Now I'm probably wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm certain that I'm wrong, but. There should be a subway station right here. You'll come up in the front of Stephansplatz. You go down this street till you hit the Opera House over here.
And this is all relative because these drawings
I don't think this geography is at all accurate. But
there's not a saloon there.
If you want to go to Vapiano's, that's how you do it. But anyways, I think if you're hoping to go to Europe as an exploring tourist tour, I'd recommend Vienna because it's got a lot of the history we've already discussed. It's got a great deal of artists, psychologists, historian. I mean, just about any kind of person.
That is true.
Oh, is my painting already hanging up? Oh, I wasn't able to capture a sense of humor. Well, that's a compliment. Let's talk to. Oh, that was that. It's got a lot of history that I don't think is as well known to some people.
That may be true, and I feel like it's so broad too, because I mean, Vienna's interacted with Mozart all the way through to like. Yeah,
there's Mozart's house is a museum.
Right. So I just feel like there's a broad kind of spectrum of historical significance, but. Even in me going to Spain, I feel like Spain was nice, but I actually liked Vienna quite a bit because part of it on a cultural level, I just resonated even with the language better because of my historical roots, I suppose. But
okay, that's interesting.
But I just felt like the overall feeling of Vienna was more.
Why is she?
My speed, I suppose. It wasn't like it was more welcoming or anything like that. It just was interesting.
Oh, don't be a jerk, lady. I'm trying to get criticism. I'm trying to face my inner artist. What is she saying? I tried to get her to look at it to offer criticism. She's like, no, I gotta go. Because she doesn't want to.
Sigh, she doesn't want to.
I've got to work. She's my love interest.
Something of him.
Ooh. Well, thank her for your criticism. Oh, okay. Well, she's saying it's better, doesn't do injustice, and I'm going to say, of course it does, and I know that. Oh, well, you're just... So she's just a jerk. Wow. Well, tell me, what's missing? I
realize it's still...
I'm no pussyfooting.
Well, that seems a little more challenging than...
Not being truthful with the brush, you must think outside your experience, you go into the real world, blah, blah, blah. Bright bubble of high society. Ah. She wants us to paint dirty street urchins. Should I tell her?
She actually is a dirty street urchin.
Or should I call her on it, or should I accept it?
You're You're the one living in a bubble.
I
I don't know that's.
I feel
you
like
don't know enough
I feel
about
like
her.
the better plot of this episode is going to be if we actually try to undergo some sort of experience. So let's listen to her and see what she'll say. That's your grandfather. Well, that's not helpful. Climbs mountains. He knows what it's like to feel. Oh, so we are going to end up painting our grandfather. So we don't still know. I want to sit in that chair. That's a nice chair. Okay, well, is that all I can talk of you? Oh, all right. Let's go look at Vienna. I think that's Stefan Platz again in the background. I heard about News Spread. So yeah, it's a good city. You should check it out if you're into basically any political history or artistic history, obviously music history, painting, all that stuff. Everything's there. And plus, I mean, if you're at all a fan of World War II, then everyone sort of thinks Germany in that respect, but Austria saw quite a bit of the brunt.
Quite significant.
Yeah, Austria saw quite a bit of the brunt of what World War II did to Europe. I mean, I should preface that before the French get mad at me. Obviously, the French suffered more the actual fighting of it, but arguably Austria suffered more of the oppressive
didn't
nature.
He start with Austria, arguably, as far as his initial experiment of I'm about to reveal my lack of full knowledge of World War II history. I'm not trying to dig
the
at that.
first invasion was of Poland, famously. But I do believe that he annexed Austria before that.
Right. That's my point.
Is
on a political level, he kind of experimented with various ways of controlling.
Yeah, and so it's like the French obviously dealt with much of the actual warfare of World War II was fought on French soil.
Right.
But a lot of the more oppression really is the best word for it, was actually experienced in Austria.
Yeah.
Because it was so quickly under the boot of Nazi Germany.
Right.
Which is why they're quite... they're not fans of Hitler there at all.
They're staunchly opposed.
Not that anyone is, but they have a reason to be.
They're staunchly opposed also to any correlation of Germany and Austria, and rightfully so. I mean, they want to obviously differentiate from some of that history. So
now I'm curious, was it Wiener Ziele? Zeile. I don't know what that means, if I'm honest. My German is rusty. There is a famous cafe in Vienna that I'm sad to say I never went to, which is supposed to sell like the quintessential Austrian cake. And I forget the name of it even, but it's like it's uniquely a Viennese type of cake thing. I think that's Freud right there. There he is. And I'm sad to say I never went there. Never had it.
How close
it's
were
in?
you?
I don't know. It was in downtown, of course, but I don't know, and I'm rather embarrassed that I never did that.
Much to your chagrin, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot, as I said, because I lived there. You take a lot of it for granted, where you're like, yeah, I live here. I'll get to it one day.
Bing bong, I'm in Austria.
And then you're gone, and then you never do. And I wish I had treated it more like an extended vacation than just like a place I was living.
Well, I don't think you can if you're actually to integrate yourself into the culture. I mean,
yes, you can't treat it like I suppose you can't treat it like it's, a holiday all the time. Or reader, let's talk to Venus and Furs. It is Freud. Now look at this handlebar.
How do you capture Freud?
Whoa.
Freud's into painting.
I walk past this guy and he turns into a ghost. That's interesting. Now
he's got an inner demon.
I do believe Stalin did live in Vienna for a certain period of time.
Is that a fact? I did not know that.
I think for a short period of time. But
wow, they're really going to just relate all of this
Well, because
together.
that was the first step. Oh, look at that! It's the cakes, the famous Austrian cake. I can't remember the name of. I wish. Oh, Sachertorte! That's what it was. Well, thank this game for reminding me. Ooh. I've never heard of that one. Or that one. I've never heard of most of these. The only one I've heard of is Sachertorte, which is very famous, and I'm sad to say I never had it.
What was the Chinese place we went to that actually had some sort of it was like a
Oh, kitchen. I thought that was a bathroom.
It's like a Chinese wine, but it wasn't actually.
Oh, okay. That was not a fancy restaurant. That was just in our neighborhood.
No, I wasn't suggesting it was fancy.
And I don't. I think it was just. It was a sushi
definitely
place.
some
I
sort
think
of
it was.
wine,
I think it was
though.
sake.
No,
it was
it
a
wasn't
sushi.
sake.
It was a sushi place.
Hmm.
That was in our neighborhood. That was not like a famous
I
Chinese.
wasn't
You have me
suggesting-
thinking of like a touristy spot.
No, I wasn't suggesting that.
Can I go into the kitchen? Seems like they wouldn't want me to do that. Okay, yeah, I was about to say. Excuse me, waiter. What can I do for you? Coffee. Apparently the Viennese are quite into their coffee. And I was not into coffee at the time, so I wouldn't have tried that either. So just lots of missed opportunities for me. Ooh, okay. Melange. Grosse braune. So literally a large brown one. I don't know what melange means. I thought that was French.
I would imagine a
Milch
half
café,
calf.
so milk coffee, presumably a latte.
Like a latte.
Verlängerte. I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to go with a latte. Milchkaffee. Mit Schlag bitte. Oh, delicious. There you go. See? Mathematicians. I believe that's one of the other... Oh. So this, I believe, is one of the other characters is the mathematician. But slender mathematician. Oh, Freud's laughing. I could potentially get another portrait done. What subject? There you go. I found another one. Please pardon the intrusion. I'm an artist and I'd like to see you naked.
Wow.
Oh, they know of me.
An artist?
Oh, they know me. Well, how about that? I'm a success once and for all. Who is your friend here? Herr Schell. Emile Schell. That's interesting, hey? But I'm studying you from across the room. I've been observing you. Okay, that's a little too creepy. That sounds serial killery. Your layers are something else. Your face is remarkable. I'm not gay. Although Alphonse probably thought I was.
I must be.
Okay.
Apologies, I'm being overzealous. That's true.
I must paint you. And then I'll slit your throat.
What kind of
some of these
dark way of...
Some of these are really
that took
awkwardly...
a turn.
Well, it's the same serial killery vein.
Sure.
Your layers are...
No, you don't want to say pray continue your
Well,
lunch
I don't want to
because
talk about her layers or his layers. I think
well, you're going to have to as a
no,
painter.
I'm sorry for being overzealous. If he wants to be painted, he'll talk to me later. Oh, okay. He's looking my way. I can't tell if it's Emile. I believe that's a man's name.
Emile, yes. I believe his name is Amal, and then the symbol for boron.
Can I talk to her again? Okay, hair, yeah, so it's a man. Fine, I don't want to talk about their layers. That's an awkward thing to say. Contradictory. That's even weirder to say. I'm not sure what this weird ghost that's going on here. I'm intrigued by your inner conflict. See, I must paint you. It sounds too forceful. Okay. Yeah, alright, so there you go. I'll just leave. So anyways, so you were talking about Norman Rockwell. I came across a painter recently who has talking about the other woman's Polish name. This is about the most Polish name there is. I cannot... Okay, there you go. Zdzisław Beksiński. Have you heard of him? You've probably seen some of his stuff without knowing it, because I saw a YouTube video that was like, oh, why a discussion on this artist, and the thumbnail was a painting I had seen, and I was like, oh, he's the guy who painted that apparently. Something in your mind? Talking to Granddad. Told me to talk to you about painting mountains and stuff. But he's known for his very horror-esque stuff. It's very much sort of the grim, macabre type painting, and very like abstract and really. I mean, it's hard to describe like any art is. You'd have to look at it for yourself and sort of draw your own conclusions from.
Dark? Is it kind of
It's
sketchy? Like no sketchy meaning like
Yeah,
like
no,
meaning
it's like proper paintings.
Okay, so I was
But
meaning like if it's almost
subject-
graphite-ish.
No, it's not. It's not rough in that sense, but it's more in just. It's really hard to describe. You'd have to look it up. The most famous painting that I wish I had prepared the name of. It was used.
Well,
was used by a metal band.
What?
The trouble is he doesn't name
name
them.
again. Is
Zdzisław. Okay, here's how you know it's Polish. ZDZ. ISLAW.
oh, okay, I got it. Polish painter.
The fact that his name starts with two Z's without any vowels between them. Oh, that one.
This one on the top.
Yes.
It's
doesn't have a name. He
called-
doesn't name his paintings. If it's been named, it's been named by someone else. I have not been paying attention. Più Alto, the upper end of the overhang from the foot of the rock face. He's talking about rock climbing. So if you look up, okay, so apparently if you look him up, we're looking him up now, and the first painting you'll find is I think it's sometimes referred to like as the creature, but it's literally been on the cover of some metal band's album. I forget which one, but that was the one I had seen. But he's got a very
I like that. The
sort of
painting.
Lovecraftian vibe, where his paintings are all very. It's so impossible to describe, especially this. I mean, of all art, it's
this
super
to
abstract.
Me is more interesting.
Oh, I actually find all of this stuff
throw
very interesting because
blanket.
it's not. It's macabre, but it's not always necessarily purely disturbing. Some of them are deliberately like creepy, where it's like there's one that I recall that was literally like a giant face, and out of its mouth were crawling like a bunch of weird demon monsters.
Yeah, well, this is almost like a sense of the occult.
Yeah,
almost.
there's that too, but it's like that one. So it's like some of them are very clearly meant to be disturbing, but some of them are really more just. I find more somber is the better word.
Sure.
And I think that there's something about it that I found interesting, and I watched the video thinking, wow, I should look more into him because I appreciate that style. I appreciate sort of that willingness to not shy away from things that would be seen. I mean, the macabre is the best word for it, where it's just it's meant to disturb, but not in a gruesome way, more in a like there's clearly meaning behind it, and even potentially like you can see a degree of the artistic beauty. Feels like such an overused term, but it's like there's a degree of artistic meaning behind it, which then sort of juxtaposes the more gruesome, confronting aspect of it, and perhaps that's what carries it for me. And I have not been paying attention. Roll for age. I am not paying attention to this. Thernhart. I do not know that name. I don't know if the names in this are of actual people, but could be.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean.
I appreciate that, and you should check him out if you're into that kind of like if you like H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe as authors.
Poe for sure.
If you like them
this
as
is very
authors,
lugubrious.
that one's
Like,
very
that's-
famous.
I
That one is
actually
another
really
one that's famous.
appreciate
That was in the video even.
See, that to me
I'll
is
send you.
very-
In fact, I might even link it in the video. I'll link the video.
But see, it's like the little details, like that. All of a sudden, is in the background, and, you're going,
that translation.
Right, yeah,
I actually did translate that, but I forget what does it say.
in hoc signo vinces.
Meaning in this, I signify that
In this,
I signify that you will win, or that I will win. Vinces. Vinces is second person. In this, I signify that you win.
Huh.
I will link the video so that you can, because it's actually worth watching, because it's an interesting.
His whole.
It's a discussion of him and his sort of style and various paintings about and stuff. But it's fascinating, and I thought it was interesting. And now we're talking about artists, so there you go. Relevant. Let's go speak to this woman I haven't been paying attention to. Okay.
Try also to at least tag the
I'll
image rather
I'll
of
also
Rockwell's
I'll link
family portrait.
Oh yes, there you go. I will try to do that too.
That particular one is interesting.
There you go. This is the most cultural episode we've talked about, and we've still got about another 20 minutes to go. Look at us. There's a ghost of an alien. The ghost of Thin Shrek.
With 4 eyes rather than 2,
Well,
apparently?
those are just ghost bubbles. See,
They just multiplied like mad.
Let's talk. I don't think. Ooh, policeman.
How do you know he's a policeman?
It says well,
I'm sorry. It took me a moment.
Actually, no. It's Kaiser Wilhelm. Real? Maybe. Suitable model mascot? Hardly. Talk to the woman. I don't believe in the policeman.
He's dismissive. He doesn't back the blue. Or at that time, the bowl.
Back the bowl.
Back the bowl.
The thin bowl line.
It's the bowls.
Excuse me, madame. Schnuckel? Did she just call me Schnuckel? Didn't I see you at the Berg Theatre last week? I don't know why this Austrian lady talks like a pompous British woman. I never miss a performance. I have no clue who you are. My name is Schnitzler. I think she's just saying comedy names. They say it's forbidden in Germany. So much is... Wow!
So what era is this is the question.
This early 1900s. Before,
Okay.
So this would be... I don't know if this is supposed to be before or after World War I.
Or maybe during.
I doubt it's during. I'm pretty sure there'd be a lot more upheaval. You sent chocolate to my dressing room. What? Ooh. That's a weird...
Nom nom nom
Turned into a
nom.
Pokemon for a second there. Yes, for the business. I thought we might get through 2 episodes today, but I think we've milked as much out of this one as we could get. But I think this one was a good one. I'm not a schnuckle. Oh, my dear little...
No,
oh, my
Schnuckel.
little schnuckle face.
Now, Heinz Strudel.
Franz Markert. That is my name. But no,
She
you
owes
can't
us-
be.
You
You're too
owe a
young.
substantial amount of back taxes to your time at your exchange student at the University of Heidelstrudel.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is this a reference I don't get?
Yes.
Apparently my grandfather's like known all throughout Vienna. He still climbs. He's still kicking. My grandmother's dead.
She's ogling
The
him.
herbalist. Okay. Oh.
We must not forget the herbalist. I got to go see him right now
Apparently she
for
wants
some
me to
Mary
follow.
Jane.
She wants me to follow her. Following the woman, the woman. Oh, hello. Real. I don't want to talk to the policeman again. I know he's not real. What? Exotic wares from the New World. Ah. A lot of vials. It's drugs.
That's what I'm saying.
The only thing
Reefer!
that Madame Thernhardt. Oh, do I get to paint you? You ever...
Oh, dear.
it's
She's
babushka.
got some...
She turned into a babushka.
She feels old. Very old.
Oh, these are... Oh, we actually are buying herbs. Buying some weed. What are you looking for? You ever had any artistic inclination?
You were going to talk about weed.
You ever smoked weed?
You ever talk about...
You talk about how high you're getting? The red is foot bathing powder. Anti-aging exotic
The
skincare.
green is...
Okay.
The
I guess
green
we're
is
gonna-
an anti-aging gel.
Apparently I know all this. Okay. Babushka.
I don't want to
Liar.
be a burden.
Your friend's Margaret. Okay, I'm confused. We're not paying too enough attention.
She's friends
Would you
with
paint me?
Margaret.
There you go. Yes, I'll ask. Or I will, rather. You asked. I would paint you as you are without all this. Because your beauty has only grown with time. But we're talking about real people, because you're real. You would paint who I am. You would paint me. I would paint this. In fact, I'll paint this right here. I'll paint you with your babushka spirit coming out of you.
Your spirit babushka.
That's
If
what-
you will.
And there's the private investigator surreptitiously listening in on this conversation. Your spirit babushka. That's just...
Surreptitiously listening in.
Your spirit babushka is the queen. I'm going to have to find a way to insert that into random conversation. Ah, my spirit babushka.
Arashana.
I want to paint you. I don't know why he is French. Oh. Please meet me at my work, Hollandstrasse. 10.
How exciting. If she shows up in something weird, I'm going to be just...
Goodbye.
This is real.
Ta-ta. Okay, so how do I get out of
He's
here?
going to meet you there, too.
Oh, the city. The market is nestled deep within this sprawling
Surreptitious
city.
herb dealer is going to meet you there, too.
All right, Granddad, I'm good. Oh, he's following me. Oh, it's not Shrek at all. He's wearing a hat.
Still doesn't excuse his 9 eyes.
Those aren't eyes. They disappear whenever you get close to them, or further away, rather.
Mind comfy eyes.
Oh, he's avoiding. Granddad's got game with old woman. He's avoiding talking about her.
I know that woman.
That man
Take
just
care,
slapped his
my
meat.
boy. What?
I'm just saying it. Don't read into that anything other than what I said. I said a perfectly valid statement.
He's standing in front of the butcher. Don't make it weird.
And he slapped his meat. He's going to do it again in a minute.
The butcher's mad, too. Look at him.
Well, I would be too. If everyone was
yelling about
watching
it.
while you slapped your meat. Oh, we're getting demonetized. We need to stop this. So much meat. There it is. He just did it again.
I didn't realize you were actually referencing what was going on.
Yes, I wouldn't have
I bet you just pulled that out of the sky.
I wouldn't have said it if it didn't
He
actually
was actually over there
no.
smacking his meat.
I got that song. It's Butcher Pete in my head.
Oh my
There was a
word!
song about a boy named Butcher Pete. If you've played Fallout, you'll know that song.
I didn't realize you were actually referring to.
All right, I'm gonna go to my workshop.
Look at that! Animates you actually walking back to your house.
Yes, my little spirit ghost. And I'd like to point out, I'm like flying through the city.
Your spirit babushka.
My spirit babushka can run at Mach 3. I'm running through this. I ran up an entire city street in like 2 minutes. Here she comes. Here's my babushka. The stage is set. All props are in their expected places. Oh, okay,
Oh,
good.
She's close. Oh, okay.
Please have a seat, madame. I beseech thee, milady. Beautiful. Ah! So that's the woman. Madame Thornhouse sits and demurely arranges her skirt. I've never heard demurely used as an adverb before.
Okay.
I mean, I've only ever heard it as an adjective.
Demure as far as like just
I noticed it in the market too. Are you
fanciness or
Oh,
poise?
she's got a spirit. I haven't been sleeping. Oh, it's him. He's back. This is her spirit, Dadushka. I believe is the opposite of babushka.
Is that true? I didn't know.
I think babushka is grandmother. I believe it's Dadushka or Nanushka.
Nanushka wouldn't make a lot of sense.
I believe it's Dadushka. It's the opposite of babushka. No. But here's what's going to happen. I'm going to paint her on top of him, and it's going to give him his final last piece. Because I said there was a layer missing, and he's still here, but she's here, so I'm going to paint her on him.
So really, you're a matchmaker.
I am at peace when I paint. I don't know why he's always French when I have to say, okay. No. We're gonna stay above the waist. Keep it not looking at a bullocks. Thank you for doing that. I'd rather you not. No, the veil. Oh. I thought we would paint her with the veil. I thought it might add a mystique, but there you go. I hope we'll get through this episode before the
babushka just came out. Oh,
Spirit babushka. Your babushka shines through. I want to see if we can. I don't want to end this until we actually finish this episode. Babushka, I'm laughing at your babushka.
This.
Madame, I can't paint if I'm laughing at your babushka. Why was she calling me schnuckel? I've never heard that as a term of endearment. But then again, I mean, you remind me of a surgeon. That's interesting. What? She's a little too flirty for her age.
Oh, speaking of flirty.
Oh, Freud. That never leads to any problems.
That's not what I was going with, but sure. I was literally actually
Whoa, hang on. I know him or I've never met. Oh, no, of him.
This is a bit of a...
she's actually met Freud.
Well, there you go.
I seem to collect neuroses like souvenirs. Well, that'll happen when you're around Freud.
Especially when you meet Freud.
I don't get what this is about, but all right. And I mean, the dude, our friend, is still there in spirit. Oh, he's still there. He's still there! Hours later. Okay. I was going to
So,
ask. This is what I was going to ask.
Bit of a tangent, though. I was going to say
okay.
about old babushkas flirting.
Okay, now she's a permanent babushka.
What? Oh,
She's permanent. Paintings
that's what he was
are
missing.
like onions. They've got layers. I'm gonna paint a bunch of people,
What's your favorite
and they're gonna end up
role?
creating a character in the middle. I'm gonna paint that,
that's probably true.
which means there's a lot more we gotta get through. How much we got? We're getting close. I
Is
wanna.
there a role that you hated playing? Do you like your colleagues?
Why'd you act? Yeah. I was gonna ask, what was your tangent? Because I got one too.
Well, mine was a little less serious. I was going to say at one point I literally was bouncing, of all things, for a bar at...
This is a real story?
yeah, no, it is.
Why have I never heard this story?
Well, I don't share it. But,
we got triples.
But I was... it was amazing
When
how...
was this? How old would you have had to have
frequently-
been?
Well, it was with Caleb at his at the security company that his dad runs.
Oh, that I was thinking
So-
like before we were friends, like in high school or college.
No. But we were both actually there, and it was amazing how after a few pints, people just come out and they are awfully flirty at 80 years old. You're going, okay. I'm like, this one lady came out and was like, bouncers are getting awfully young for, whatever. And I was going, okay, you need to get in your car now. Go away.
Well, booze will do that to anyone.
I didn't send anybody drunk home, I promise. She had somebody picking her up. So.
Oh, well, okay. I was about to say, I was like, you were bouncing, dude. Of course you had to send drunk people home, but I think you meant like driving
in
them
their car.
Okay. No. I suppose I thought when you said like I was thinking you worked at a bar. Because sometimes bars will hire their own, they won't outsource
this
security.
Was private security.
Okay. Because I was like, I've never heard this story.
No.
Gluttony,
You
of
heard
course.
that story before, though, right?
No, not that.
It was at Azteca, of all things. It was the bar at Azteca.
I didn't even know they had bouncers there.
Well, it was on Cinco de Mayo, so I mean, it's a little bit
Ah,
more
well,
of a special
that'll
occasion.
happen.
It seems like that would happen.
Like an artichoke. Really? An artichoke? You had to pick a layered vegetable and you went with artichoke. Didn't Shrek make it perfectly clear? Onion is the only comparison
Artichoke.
of the many vegetables he hates. Apropos. Is that how you spell that? I don't think I've ever seen that word spelled.
Apropos.
I imagine it's Greek. It looks Greek.
Oh, well, it probably is, actually.
You said you knew my grandfather. Were you and Granddad in love? Well, I don't like being called Schnuckle. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm getting uncomfortable. There you go, almost finished. This has been hours. The question I was going to ask...
And babushka.
Spirit babushka. Your babushka is here on the canvas. He's more Mexican than French, I realize.
Why do you hesitate? I didn't hesitate, you weirdo.
I'm missing something. I'm always missing something. Is this why you can't sleep? It's worse than that. Ah, so he does actually have... So he was right. He just totally blacked out earlier in the day. One of 3 sisters. My sisters are my great women. It was easy, blah, blah, blah. That's rather sad. Whoa! Is that...
It's her inner demon.
Okay, it is. I wasn't sure if these were supposed to be wings like Angel at first, but yeah, I'm getting the face was much more... Many think us little better... Oh, okay. Bit harsh. Bit harsh.
Yeah, bit demonish.
I'm painting... There you go. Beksinski would be proud. We're painting inner darkness. And that's the... There you go. We're painting inner demons. And that's the one missing layer. It's painting real people with real struggles. Oh, and they're all still here. I'm going to paint this faceless monstrosity. Beksinski would be proud of that too. All right. Well, I want to finish this before we conclude, but we might not be able to. We might have talked too much. But anyways, my tangent topic was going to be, I swear I'm shorter. Oh no, I was just closer to the phone.
I swear I'm shorter.
That's
your inner demon coming out.
Like I was barely above this head on the portrait, but that's because I was standing closer to the...
Go ahead, your inner tangent.
My inner tangent was going to be, have you ever had any artistic sort of impulse where you're like, oh, I'd like to take that up, but then just never did? Because we acknowledged at the beginning, neither of us are much of artists.
Visual art, I don't know that I've
Well,
ever
yes, we talked about music.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever engaged visual art in any serious respect. I can cartoon okay, which is, I suppose, a form of art, but
of course it is.
It's not like this where you're actually trying to capture some sort of emotional experience, or even with with more abstract art where you're trying to cause people to feel something or evoke some sort of emotion. I feel like with cartoon, it's far more focused on entertainment, I suppose, which we've actually talked about as far as what thread between entertainment.
I think there can be. You can do anything with any medium. It's not like you're limited to that. With
sure, that's true. But I just think
my blackouts. Are you a drinker? That'll do it.
I've never really messed with art in any serious sense. So it's possible that I could. I just have never tried.
I would love.
I feel like you have some fairly good.
Well, I can. Here's what I've often said, because I feel like people have seen stuff I've done and been like, "Oh, wow, you're really good at that," and I'm like, to me, what I have is a degree of a. I mean, this is going to sound really pretentious, but I have sort of an eye. In that but it's more almost of a scientific thing where it's like I am a very detailed focused person. So if you give me a picture and I have a pencil and paper, I can work on it so that I can recreate what's in the picture, but that's only because I'm looking at it.
Right.
It's like I have tried to do like imaginative stuff like purely from imagination, and I've never been able to do that to satisfaction.
Yeah, but this is not necessarily like that's not to say stuff. It's
so I actually did. Wow, I did paint all of her aspects.
But I mean, this isn't necessarily imaginative stuff. He's obviously drawing from some degree.
Yes, but there's a degree of abstractness in the levels of.
Find that weird Polish chick.
Polish chick. Lasinska or something. Lonchek.
Longines.
Something like Greta Lonchek or something. Yeah, Klimt painting. What do you think, Mr. Klimt? You would know. Of course, he's going to tell me too much. He already knows. That we're. Oh no, Klimt's, of course, he's going to. I don't know. He's a fellow artist. He's going to be biased. We need a critic. Here's my appearance. Oh, because I haven't slept a lot. Yeah. You look terrible. Well, thanks for couching your opinion there, St. Paul. Oh, there you go. That's the spirit of St. Paul. What? Okay. Lonejak. I wasn't that far off. Fräulein Lonejak. I doubt she knows you're buying the panel telephone her. Anyways, here's the thing. I would love to do like intensive, almost a sort of. I forgot. I didn't hear what she asked. I have my painting, I guess. Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. Should I be honest or should I?
I would say more.
Let's be honest. I am a drinker.
And a fiend.
This is actually a psychological phenomenon that can happen, which is pretty scary.
Sidebar to House, apparently.
Yeah, I mean it was on an episode of House even, I think. I don't need Freud. No one needs Freud. Oh, holy crap! It's actually Freud. I didn't expect that.
Well, that was awfully prescient of you.
Let's talk about Freud. That. Here's what I'll say, because I've seen even recently. There's a lot of. Freud gets a lot of crap, and I've lobbed my fair share his way.
It's hard to ignore Freud's contributions, though.
Yes, but I think the person who says it best, who naturally would, is Jordan Peterson, a psychologist who would know. And he says, I think the way he put it made me change my mind, because I used to think Freud was an idiot, as most people do. I never thought he was an idiot.
I just thought he was a wackadoo.
Well, sure, but I see people in layers. I'm an ogre. But.
Man, you just prescient as all get out today.
I'm always ahead of the curve. the way he puts it is Freud is the kind of person where all that's left of him are his failures.
What? Right, that's true.
Because when you think about the fact that psychology really didn't exist before him. Like, it was technically a branch of philosophy.
Psychology
it was technically
yes.
it was like a branch of philosophy where it was like the philosophy of mind in a way. But he turned it into an actual like science, which it now is. A young science, admittedly, but still.
Sure.
Aspects of their personalities, of course. He'll appreciate that. Is he sweating, or is that just a shine on his bald head? Or balding head? Do you see your own layers? Do you see your own demons? Oh! I think we've hit pay dirt. Everyone has layers. We're all ogres. Never been able to see them. There you go. But when you think about the fact that psychology didn't exist before him, really, and now most of the stuff he's said has now become not only standard practice within psychology, but almost common knowledge amongst just people.
Well, yeah, and then it's not attributed back to him.
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
so the way he describes it, I think, is best, where you're going, of course, like any great sort of thinker, he was wrong about a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And in fact, I think even Jordan Peterson says he was wrong about a lot more than anyone else has ever thought.
Well, that's only because of the fact that he put out a lot of ideas is the difference. Yeah.
And as any pioneer of any sort of field would, he flung a bunch of stuff at a wall, and a lot of it stuck, but now all of it's so common sense to us that all we see is the stuff that didn't, and we go, what a whack job he was.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you really... It's like all that's left is his failures. It's like the things he was wrong about are all we remember him for now, because everything else we just accepted and almost don't think of as being...
As his, yeah.
Yeah, as having been significant ever, because we think, oh, well, everyone always knew that. It's like, well, no.
This is kind of a shame.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not gonna defend some of his wackier stuff, because certainly he had wacky opinions that were definitely wrong. But
sure.
That wasn't all he was. Oh, okay, we haven't been paying attention to this thing. It's better than me kicking them. I don't actually know what we're talking about, other than
You
Freud
asked him essentially whether he
had blackout. Oh, there you go. I paint portraits. There you go. Psychoanalyzing and painting.
A psychologist.
And now I'm going to paint Freud. He will be naked, no matter what I say.
What? Let's pick up where we left off. Paint me.
Anyways. But yes, before that, we're talking about our own attempts at art. So, yeah, I can paint... or not paint. I've never actually painted much, if at all, really. But, like, if I can draw something fairly accurately based on a picture, but to me... Okay, I won't denigrate it and say that that's not art. Because, of course it is, but it's not the kind of art that I wish I could do. Like, I'd love to do, like, a proper intensive, like, you know, however many weeks course under some, you know, the tutelage of some actual master.
Well, what limits you, I suppose, is my question. Like, to doing that now and exploring kind of your own
money and time. I do not have the money to take an art class. I can
understand. But no, I'm saying forget the art class. I'm saying just experimenting with it. I mean...
well, money even then. It's like, you know how expensive...
Okay.
That was unexpected. It's Alphonse. Something just happened. I've been molested. Please share it. Was it your mother?
Stop. That's terrible. Speaking of typecasting, Freud.
Well, my layer. What? Excuse me. I saw myself. Okay. So really, it's just painting is expensive. And
that's disappointing.
Well, plus, I don't know that you can... Well, I suppose you can teach yourself painting, but I would rather...
Arguably, anybody that started from someplace.
Yeah, literally in the sense of like the first person to ever paint. But almost all of the great people were taught by someone else. And sometimes those people aren't as famous. But like Leonardo da Vinci was a student of some painter of his time. It's just the fact that we don't know their names now doesn't mean that they weren't famous in their day. So to me, here's my problem is that I tend to be... I'm a somewhat obsessive person, if you can't tell. So to me, I would instead of like, yeah, I paint occasionally when I've got the time and I just watch YouTube videos, I would want it to be like, no, I in like a perfect world, this is a dream scenario, not like what I would actually do. But like I would, fly, I'd go to Venice for like, or not Venice, like Florence, and study for like 6 months under some famous person. And that's obviously like ridiculous and over the top, but I'm like, if I'm going to get into something, I would want to just like head first.
Yes, I understand.
Because then it's like you can either spend 10 years doing it as a hobby and get to be okay, or you could do it for 6 months every day and get to be great. Because it's not, the whole idea of, becoming a master of something. I need to keep the conversation going. The whole, like, it takes 10,000 hours to become a master of something, that doesn't specify how long it takes you to acquire those hours. Where it's like, it's like you can go to a Chinese monastery and learn kung fu in 3 months.
Right.
Because you're literally doing it 12 hours a day.
Right.
And it's like, there's a part of me that I'm like, I would rather just deep dive, get that kind of super deep experience. It's happening again.
Super deep experience.
Another of my layers. Why are my layers molesting me? Freud, explain. Only you can answer this question. Why am I being molested by my layers?
Rip off that sheet. One sheeshin, two sheeshin.
Oh boy, how much longer is there in this episode? I was hoping we'd get to something. I want to get to the end before we finish this, but I don't know how much longer that is, and whether or not... Oh, there's Dr. Freud's office. I believe Freud's house is also a museum in Vienna.
There you
go. No easel. The layer... Oh, no, the layers are gone. Oh, but something else is... What did I... Am I hallucinating? I'm hallucinating a painting. It's me. So I've been trying to find my own layers in other people. I saw him. Alright, this one's a little more... Why am I painting naked? I'm painting naked. That is some scarily good spine detail. I'm very clearly in the buff.
He's painting David.
Yeah, he does kind of have a David-ish appearance to him. This one's a little more abstract than the other one. I think it got a little more deep and a little more...
He's going Van Gogh.
I know you're trying to be all mystical and kung fu-y. Deformed figure. I'm going to paint their layers also into me. I am one with the universe.
Wow, you take it into Zen. So let's just usher it right there.
Well, it's not inapt. Zen art was a big part of Zen.
Well, that is very accurate.
Okay. That doesn't look like self-pitying or work. It doesn't really look like being celebrated either, but this is why we do what we do. No, that can't be right. We can't do art to be celebrated. We must do it for ourselves. Oh, are we about to finish? It seems like it's conclusionary. That would be nice. The painting hasn't changed. A bleeding figure? Oh, pleading. I was about to say, that's awfully dark. I drew myself bleeding. Okay. Torn figure. Pleading, cowering, torn figure. I think this dude's got some issues. No wonder the past weeks has been... I don't know where we're going here. I'm talking to myself and laughing at myself. And I'm being hugged by a hobo. I don't know what that... I see arms and some kind of thing.
It's his head.
And weird shoulder muscles. Is this that chick?
Young composer.
Is this the chick we're bringing her back? Oh, I regret. There was someone... because I couldn't capture... Oh, okay, so we actually have to paint until this is finished. This is taking a weird turn I wasn't expecting. I don't know how much...
Well, did you expect that with art and the fact that he
Well, I suppose if one of these had to go wacky, it was going to be the art. Variables are closer resemblance to me. During my sister with Freud, I saw my own layers. If I want to be a short moment, I bring them out again. I only asked about... I don't remember. I asked about the blackouts, I think. Oops. Okay, the game says no.
I think it was when he asked about the patients.
I feel like I'm trying to rush this
Clients,
because
whatever.
I want to get through this episode before we finish.
Well,
Whoa, I've seen. Okay. This might be slightly longer than normal just because I want to know. Herr Moritz, the Bankerman. Woo! Okay, that's a little grim. That does not look like a happy... That looks like a strangly self-portrait.
yeah, I would say the second one.
Oh, boy. Please tell me that's right. Do I too? Yes. Oh, it worked! My models. Understood. Jumping up. Alright, this is interesting. So, I've talked a whole bunch, and you have not answered the artistic inclination, other than cartoonism.
Well, outside of that, I would say most of my artistic bend is composing. It's very much the previous episode would have been more apropos to what I do.
If you could have a full-on paid trip to whatever city under whatever master, and all you had to do was show up, would you do it, or would you be like, it's too much of a commitment, and I don't care enough about art to do it?
Oh, no, I would, of course, do it, because I think that I have an artistic bend. All I'm saying is the medium in which I use is very much right now is music.
Well, but I'm talking about visual art.
Yes, I would do it for sure, yeah. I just don't know that I
Because I'm talking like, what if it was like
right
a full-on, like, 6 months living in a different country,
I would.
doing it every day? You'd still do it? You wouldn't find that daunting?
Well, I mean,
in the so much so that you wouldn't do it?
In the sense that it would be a little complicated as a dad and as a whatever.
Well, else, again, I said all expense paid, presuming that's been taken care of somehow.
Well, yeah, then I would.
St. Peter, I've done it.
Daunting? No, I don't think it would be daunting at all. Because to me,
because some people would be like, I'm not interested enough in art to commit to that.
If you're able to live and breathe it, I would say very few things would be daunting to me unless it's like something I literally have no desire to do or knowledge and pursuing. I just go no. But
I have another
art for sure I would totally want to do.
Yeah, there you go. Did I have a question or another topic? I might have. We've talked about there is only one, and I'm not sure if we have enough time because I think this is coming to a conclusion. But basically, this is a similar... we'll piggyback off of it, and if we don't give it enough justice, sorry, but we're running... This video is already stretching a little longer than we meant. Thank you. Or why? Tell me why it's good. We talked about this once before, but not ever on I was about to say on camera, on mic. The short story, The Bet, by Anton Chekov. Are you familiar with it?
I feel like I recognize the name, but I don't know that
we did discuss it, so we did discuss it, so I might jog your memory. Oh, I'm gonna go find Greta. I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't want this video to be too long. His name's Gustav Klimt. I did know that, but it didn't occur to me. I do not know where she lives. It's that. She lives in... Okay. The Bet by Anton Chekov, short story. Basically, the crux of it is a young man and a banker get into a sort of debate about the ultimate... It comes down to this ultimatum of the bet, where the banker offers and says... Because they're talking about, like... sort of sociology on a broad level and how people interact with other people, and it comes down to the banker making the bet, saying, I bet that, even for a staggering amount of money, and at the time it was $2 million, which I believe in modern money, based on inflation, would be like $50 million or something. He says, for $50 million, would you spend 5 years completely devoid of all social interaction with any other people? And there's a wrinkle to that. It's not just would you do that, for just the money. He actually says, in the stipulations of the bet are, you have to live on my property in a little cabin that's secluded from everyone. You're not allowed to see another person ever. But I will provide you with any sort of entertainment and diversions you could ever want. So it's like, and in fact, that's what happens in the bet. In the book, or the short story rather, the young man takes the bet, and it's like he learns to play the piano. He learns like 8 different languages. He He studies all sorts of classic stuff because he gets like a whole mountains of books brought to him. It's like he does all of this stuff, and then I mean, I won't get into the spoilers of it, but it takes a psychological toll on him, which is sort of how it ends. But I think on a surface level, it's similar to this, where you're going, let's say it wasn't just painting. What if it was like you have to spend, we might as well make it 5 years to keep it to the consistency. If you had to spend 5 years, everything you could ever want would be provided for you, and expenses would be paid. You'd be fed anything you wanted to eat. You'd have all the materials you want. You could learn anything. But the only stipulation is you'd have to be so dedicated to it that you couldn't interact with any other people. Well, we can finally paint her. And again, we're talking, obviously there's logistical issues with all this, but we're going to assume those have either been waived or accounted for. Like,
and you're saying, would you do that simply
for the experience of what you could become in that amount of time with that level of dedication?
I would, and here's the reason for that. I think not everybody would be.
Fisticuffs. That's very much the pugilism photo. I shall give thee what for, young maiden.
I think that.
Oh dear, I don't want to uncover you. I just want to paint you. Oh, let me show you my new thing. Fisticuffs! Oops, she looks pained. She looks like she's in pain. Oh, okay.
Speaking of Van Gogh, we've now come full circle.
We do that a lot.
What I...
Oh, she's going to buy it, no less.
Okay.
Okay, she's not doing fisticuffs. She wants to tickle us or something. What's with the weird claw fingers she's got going on?
I would one of the last two, but I don't know. It's not for sale.
Fine.
You're a jerk.
But I feel like that's going to be a negative thing.
Not.
I wanted to thank you by backhanding you for your mean comments.
No.
Critiquing my work or critiquing me?
I would say... I'm a little more dramatic. I would say rescuing me.
No, that's very dramatic. Any good artist should know that when someone offers you criticism, they're not criticizing you.
Yes,
they're criticizing what you've done. And you might not be able to make that distinction, but everyone else is. So you've got to learn to make that distinction yourself.
True.
Because otherwise you'll be the self-deprecating artist who never appreciates anything they've done. Because they go, oh, he said this about it, that means I must be crap.
No, but what I'm saying is...
This pugilistic pose, I don't know if they thought that through.
I would do it because I don't know that everybody's that comfortable with themselves, with being alone that long.
That's true.
But to me, I say there's so much I would want to do and become.
Well, see,
and a part of me goes.
I don't think everyone jumps to that. I think a lot of people think. To me, because technically the bet didn't initially include that. It was literally just, would you do it for the money alone?
See, for me, it's more
about
potential. And I go,
no, because to me,
it's more about human potential.
To me, it's like there's so much stuff that I would love to do.
Yes.
That either is time prohibitive or cost prohibitive. That if you take those two things out, it's like I've got nothing but time and it's all provided to me.
I guess the conversation ended.
So we should.
You need to paint her.
I wanted to paint her. Maybe I had to give her the painting. Maybe that was the only way. They do let you replay these to see your other. I didn't do that with the other one, but they did offer that option where it's like you can replay it and see different options.
So how?
Well, we're not going to do that in the video. I'm a baby, and you're. I don't know what's. This is a strange angle he's coming out of his jacket at. I found myself. There you go. Back to Zen. Finding yourself. Oh, we're going to paint Granddad. What? Why is he acting like he's some kind of final boss? Are you ready to paint me? He rips off his shirt and he turns out, I am Alex Louise Armstrong. In my prime scaling the Pio Alto. I believe that is Portuguese. If that's what I see, I shall paint what I see, I'm sure it is. You think you're hot stuff, Granddad, don't you? The deeds I made of. That's through yours. Okay. This is a strange... I thought the woman was going to be our final chapter because it seemed more fitting to the narrative, but... Okay. Wait Up, I'm pretty sure, is not... That's an anachronistic terminology. Wait up! Who shall I paint? Oh, we have to choose. That's why we didn't paint her there. We have to pick.
I would definitely go with the lady. That makes most sense to me.
I feel like it makes most sense for the way we played through this.
Well, also because...
Oh, I'm painting fully clothed this time. I prefer that. But we're going to paint her from memory, not from a model. There we go. We did it. And only like 25 minutes past the hour. Well, I wanted to get through a full episode. We probably dawdled more than we needed to. I was deliberately trying to push to make sure it would fill, but then I underestimated. Oh, Leos. Alda gave the portraits to Leos? Who's Leos? I didn't make that choice. Williamson also painted the Pankhurst portrait. Well, the other guys painted Weirdo Alphonse. So she's also painting the actress's portrait. Was that even a choice? I thought we had to do that. Didn't win. Oh, so that... Okay, so that conversation could have gone different if we had chosen different options. So, affection. So we were actually trying to woo her. I didn't catch that. Again, we weren't paying nearly enough attention to actually... There you go. I don't want to spoil this, so we're gonna skip ahead. Oop, next episode. There you go. I don't want to spoil the next episode for anyone, including
Gregor
myself.
is a very
mathematician-sounding
name.
So we can redo some of these if we so choose later on. But there you go. So, sorry that it's no longer free, but it's only $8 if you're curious about either the first one or seeing different options for this or the rest.
Definitely an interesting story.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing through this one even alone, and I enjoyed the discussions that this one prompted, and I'm curious about the rest. So, for $8, I'd say it seems a worthy thing.
Now I'm a bit.
You want to see more, don't you?
Well, I'm a bit
but we're not gonna
sad about the fact that we didn't get to play through the first one.
Then you'll just have to have gotten it when it was free, and you didn't do that.
Well, okay. I'm saying so that we could have discussed composition and all that other stuff.
We could have done that too, but perhaps we can still discuss that some other time. It's not like we can't discuss that ever.
Well, sure, that's true.
Subscribe to newsletter. I'm not sure I'm that enthused, but anyways, we discussed a good deal of things. What a culturally savvy episode this has been. Did we conclude our thoughts? So would you take the bet? You said yes.
Absolutely.
I would too,
but not for the reasons of money.
And obviously, it would be easier for me. I mean, if we're talking, I suppose we'd have to think of it. In your case, you've got more logistical issues with that, such as work. I mean, committed work. I've got work too, but I mean, not work that I would...
Career, different.
Yeah, career more than just raw work. And family ties and stuff. I suppose if you were to think of it to remove those, it's like if you had been given the chance while you were still a single person, would you have done it?
Right. And I would say yes.
I would also, because to me, I go... people underestimate how much you could make a difference in your life in such a short time. Like, you could, even if it was like 6 months, you could still make a massive difference if you were so dedicated to it that it was all you did. Where it's like, eat, breathe, sleep, any of the things. It's like, even 6 months of the bet, you could become such a different person. And so for 5 years, it's like you could come out like just so leveled up in gaming terms.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's like you could be such a different person and then have such a foundation for the rest of your life.
But this is why, number one, I would say anybody that doesn't have any sort of tie obligation as far as time and all that kind of stuff, definitely I would say it's worth the investment to put your effort into those types of things. And then the other thing is, carpe notte. take the night and use it. I'm always... Okay. I'm just, there's a degree of daytime being overrun by schedule and all that other stuff.
Well, and it's about, you can always find the time for something you're passionate about. You just have to care enough about it to make the time.
Yeah,
Yeah. We went way over the hour. I miscalculated in terms of our time, so special episode. This might be our longest one yet. This is going to rival the Batman episode. Well, I thought it was good.
Midweek special.
We talked about some good stuff, so there you go. Have a treat.
Cultural corner.
Have a bonbon.